Hello there guys, what is going on? Son of Chelsea back here again for another episode of In Case You Missed It. Hope you're all doing well and keeping safe. We are now only 7 days away from Chelsea being back in action at Villa Park in the Premier League. So to make sure you don't miss any of the content, because I've got a lot coming out this week on the channel, videos not only about the game but Chelsea news, other types of content as well, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Also hit that like button if you're enjoying the content because it helps out the videos as well. But let's start off with Timo Werner and a quick update on his move to Chelsea. This is from the ever reliable Matt Law, who has really been at the forefront of this story from day dot, and he's basically still maintaining that Chelsea are now in advanced stages with RB Leipzig over the deal for Timo Werner this summer. As you can see here, Chelsea are putting the final touches on their move to sign Timo Werner from Leipzig ahead of an anticipated announcement. Chelsea are now in advanced talks with the German club over how the deal will be structured. All parties are confident the transfer will go through shortly, with just a few details to be sorted out between the clubs before they can agree when to make that announcement. Of course, tomorrow is the expiry for Timo Werner's release clause, but that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get an announcement from either Chelsea or Leipzig. We may have to wait a little bit more. Of course, Leipzig have still got a couple more games to go in their Bundesliga season to wrap that up, and then Werner, of course, will be free from there. But this deal is going to happen. It's been reiterated over and over again by the most reliable transfer sources in the industry. Matt Law, German football expert, Raphael Honigstein, Fabrizio Romano. You know, everyone you'd want to talk about this deal has, and everyone who's reliable about Chelsea news and transfer news has said that Timo Werner is going to be a Chelsea player. It's just about waiting, being a little bit patient, and then the announcement will be made. It'll be cool if the announcement is made before the Villa game, because it will excite us and sort of relieve us of actually the confirmation that that deal was going to happen and Timo Werner will be a Chelsea player. But I just think it's about being patient, waiting for this to go through. Chelsea will have Timo Werner as a player next season. So hopefully the announcement is sooner rather than later. Another thing as well, Raphael Honigstein, German football expert, reported on for The Athletic, is with the current pandemic, you know, Chelsea can't have a medical with Werner. They can't fly over there to have the medical with Werner, or Werner, of course, can't fly over to London to have a medical. So that as well is hindering the move a little. Now, also in the same article by Matt Law, he talked about Kepa and the future of Kepa Arrizabalaga at Chelsea under Frank Lampard, stating that Frank Lampard will further assess his goalkeeping options once the season restarts, with Kepa Arrizabalaga needing a strong finish to convince him not to enter the market in his position. I think this is expected, and I think this is what we've heard a lot of. Now, I think it'd be a little bit naive for me to sit here and go, I don't think Chelsea are going to spend big this summer, when we've just signed Timo Werner, when that massive deal that none of us expected to happen did happen. I still would, though, maintain, I think, with Ben Chilwell, with Kai Havertz, everything we've heard about big targets. I mean, if you're talking about a massive replacement for Kepa, there haven't been many shouts about that in recent times, especially from reliable sources. Of course, a lot can change very quickly, especially maybe, you know, if certain leagues starting again and that becoming active again. I'm interested to see how Kepa reacts. I mean, the good thing for Chelsea fans and a good thing to think about is Kepa was coming into a bit of form. I think he responded really well to being taken out of the team before the lockdown. That Liverpool game, I thought he was brilliant. He kept 2 clean sheets, which this season is a collector's item really for Chelsea. And if he can continue to do the same, I think confidence is a big thing for Kepa, and if he can reclaim some of that confidence, I think he can still be a brilliant goalkeeper for Chelsea. Unfortunately, the raw numbers don't suggest that he's got it within him to do that, unfortunately, this season. I mean, the stats really don't lay out the numbers for a top goalkeeper, do they? And, you know, as much as maybe I feel a personal preference or want to give Kepa more time, those are the raw numbers. And if they continue to stay like that, I think Chelsea and Lampard are going to be ruthless and they're going to look out for another option. In terms of actually selling Kepa, I think it's going to be very difficult for the amount of money Chelsea paid for him, and considering it's only his second season, I think Chelsea may have to wait for another season to get a new goalkeeper. But then you think, what could the replacement be or improvement be this summer? I talked about Ben Foster a lot. He's just signed a new deal with Watford, if we're talking about short-term option. Of course, we've talked about Andre Onana, but that's a heftier price, and you do think maybe Chelsea would have to let a keeper go to bring him in. But as I said before, in the current pandemic, could be willing to pay around, you know, even upwards of 60 million for Kepa if Chelsea wanted to make a lot of money. And Marina is not an easy negotiator. She's going to ask for a heavy fee because that's what she's so good at, getting good fees for Chelsea players. I think Kepa will be given a chance, and I still believe that Kepa will be Chelsea's first choice goalkeeper next season. I can't see him leaving this summer, personally, in my opinion, considering all the deals that are being touted, and Chelsea may be focusing on more outfield positions than goalkeeper. But as Matt Law points out, this really is Kepa's last chance to prove to Frank Lampard he is going to be his first choice goalkeeper and can be relied on for the long term. And lastly, just talking about Michy Batshuayi. We fully expect Michy's time at Chelsea is coming to an end, and really Simon Johnson's article in The Athletic about Michy Batshuayi really lended more weight to that theory. Apparently from the friendlies that took place behind closed doors as Chelsea prepare for the Premier League restart, a club insider told The Athletic that Batshuayi only came on for the last third of one of the matches and didn't make the starting 11 for either side in the Chelsea versus Chelsea game, which took place at Stamford Bridge last week, and that's clearly a worrying sign. His prospects looked even grimmer after club sources confirmed he did not play at all in the friendly when Reading came to Cobham training ground on Wednesday. Now, the issue that Chelsea have is, and Simon Johnson points this out, is Michy Batshuayi's wage at Chelsea, and it has stopped clubs before, like Borussia Dortmund, like Crystal Palace, coming in for him before to try and take him on a permanent deal. 110 grand a week salary. That is the salary that Michy Batshuayi earns. So a lot of the clubs that we maybe think Michy may be going to permanently apparently aren't interested anymore. Crystal Palace not interested anymore because of that hefty price. Borussia Dortmund was scared off before by a hefty price, and West Ham as well apparently not interested, like we heard maybe a couple of weeks back. I think Matt Law was reporting that weeks back, but apparently, according to Simon Johnson, West Ham not going to be in the running for Michy Batshuayi. And even though Batshuayi wants to stay in London, Arsenal and Tottenham don't have him on their radar, which maybe be different, you know, with, of course, Tottenham maybe needing a striker and want to get a striker, so Batshuayi could go there, but we haven't really heard anything in that direction either. And also, Johnson points out that the short time left on Batshuayi's contract means Chelsea have little hope of getting the 33.2 million fee paid to Marseille for the Belgian international in 2016. But it is believed they will still attempt to get a large sum. Marina's brilliant at getting large sums. I wouldn't put anything past her getting a decent figure for Michy Batshuayi. I still think Chelsea will sell Michy Batshuayi this summer, even in a loan to eventually a permanent move, which we saw for Alvaro Morata last summer. I think that could be the direction Chelsea go down here if they can't get the fee up front because of the current situation. And then maybe in a year's time, if things are more normal, then they could get a fee for him. So it could be a loan to a permanent or just a loan. I just can't see Batshuayi being part of Frank Lampard's squad next year. With Timo Werner coming in, with Olivier Giroud signing that contract extension, I firmly believe, even though, of course, there is some concern about maybe Olivier Giroud could still leave this summer, I think Frank will want to keep him. But Batshuayi, for me, has had a load of opportunities at Chelsea this season, especially for Frank Lampard, and hasn't taken them. I just hope for his sake he does get that move, because I think probably for him at the moment is in a nice situation, and, you know, not being involved in those training games for Chelsea looks pretty grim for him and his opportunities for the first team. So I think it's best now Chelsea part ways, even if they do have to make a little bit of a loss. I think it's probably best for both parties now to move on. But that is it for this episode of In Case You Missed It. I hope you guys enjoyed watching today's video. If you did enjoy it, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Follow me on Twitter @SonOfChelsea. Have a great day, and I'll see you again.